We live, baby. We live and in Technicolor.
From the bed.
That's right. That's what's going on, guys? A lot of you, nobody joined yet, but hopefully we'll be here in just a second. We are going to first off, I want to talk to you guys about something that I am fairly excited about. And that is the ability to listen to our podcast on Spotify now. So you can go out there and search for On Another Line. There's only one episode up there right now. That was the one where me and JR was talking to. We were talking to Ronnie Moore from Bassmasters, and it's actually a really good episode. If you guys want to go out there, it's 100% free. It's not something you have to even subscribe to. You just go out there and take a look at it and listen to it. So, yes. JR is in bed.
I'm totally in my bed.
Yeah, so there's that. Anyway, guys, welcome to this episode of On Another Line. Today we're going to talk about winter cranking topics, why I think baits work a little better than others. But with that being said, we got some things we're going to pass along to you, some really good money-saving stuff down at Freedom Outdoors in Wheelersburg, Ohio, or St. Mary's, Ohio, depending on where you're looking at. But right after this short intro, we're going to get into it. And JR, you still haven't made the intro yet, man. I'm just slacking. It happens.
I
but
post it every week, and I'm just like,
yeah, well, I mean, so I'll talk to my people. You have your people, talk to my people, and then we'll. Oh, wait a minute. I guess I need to just make a new intro, right? Because I do all that other stuff. So anyway, right, be back in just a second.
Gotta get your arms way up in a cast and set the hook on smallmouth bass, and then you'll understand. Gotta get your hands on a Shimano reel and a G-Loomis right. I bet you like what you feel. Step on the deck and give it a whirl. Hello, welcome to my world.
What is going on, everybody? Give me 1 second here to share this stuff out. I would appreciate if you guys would share this stuff out. Like I said, I tell you guys every week, lie to people. Tell them that it's an awesome fishing show and we really know what we're talking about. And just kind of like let it be. Let it marinate there a little bit.
Sent, and it is sent.
Nice.
To all 12 of my Facebook friends.
Sweet, man. That means we'll have a total of 24 because the 12 people that watch us weekly and then the other 12 that you just sent. I mean, it's awesome.
All right.
Well, if
you
I could do something
out there in TV land, give us some comments, some stuff to talk about other than our topic of the day, which is winter cranking.
When does winter even start?
Normally it's like December 22nd, I think.
So we're not too far from there.
There's a winter solstice, as I recall.
And that's the shortest day of the year, but is also the start of winter, correct?
Correct.
Cool. So I am working on something here. Give me 13 seconds here, guys, and I promise you I will get back with you.
Looks like it is the 22nd this year, yes.
Nice.
Thank you, Wikipedia.
See? There is that. There is that. Gotta love it. I promise you guys I'll be done in just a second. So a couple of things that we're going to kind of talk about this evening is going to be one, wintertime cranking and why I think it's imperative you understand that the crankbaits that you use is going to determine the amount of fish you catch, and take that for what it's worth. Hey, what's up, Chuck Dotson? So first and foremost, right here, wintertime cranking rattle or no rattle. I'm 100% rattle, man. I think the louder you can get it, the better. But I also think the wobble action of it actually makes a difference. We'll talk about that in just a second. But I dug out my JB's Fish Sauce shirt today, and if I figure out which shoulder it's on here, because it's kind of backwards when you're looking at the camera.
Left is right and right is left.
Yeah, we mentioned last week that JB's Fish Sauce is going out of business, which I am super bummed about. Those of you guys know, I'm sure you guys hear me talking about it every week, and that is JB's Fish Sauce. They were one of the first people that were going to partner with me and have partnered with me to create a fish sauce with my own brand logo on it, and that was on another line. It was called Pinch of Garlic. There is still some of that available. I'm going to be buying some, but whatever is online on jbsfishsauce.com is the last of the Mohegans. If I can I even say that anymore? Is that is that insensitive?
No, we can't even have the Cleveland Indians anymore, so definitely not.
Yeah, so it's the last of the JB's Fish Sauce. We'll put it that way. They have a decent deal going on right now. If you like to get your hands on some of that, I would recommend going to getting it because you cannot get it anymore because the company, unfortunately, is going out of business. But with that being said, talking about that. What is it?
What made you pick garlic?
Pinch of garlic. So here's a little known secret. Maybe it's not a little known secret, but it's half of their crawfish, half garlic. I like both of those, and we were talking about it. And I was buying bottles of one and then the other, and then I was like spraying them both on my base, and I was like, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Just hear me out here. Put half of garlic and half of crawfish in there. And Corey, who owned the company at the time, after he bought it from Jim Block, said, "You know what? I think we can do that, and we'll slap your logo on there." And it's been a marriage ever since.
Well, sweet.
Yeah. So let's see here. Philip Allen, where's Mark Hickey? That's a great question. He said he was going to be on here. Matter of fact, if the dude was going to be on here, I was going to send him an invite to join us this evening. Larry Slack in the house. What's up, buddy? Man, rock crawlers and fret sides are awesome. We're going to talk about both of those in just a second. So really quickly, before we get started here, I was talking on the phone, or actually via Facebook Messenger, with Scott Hale from Freedom Outdoors yesterday, and he informed me of some really good deals he's got going on down there, and I'm going to share those with you guys. As you guys know, I'm in the market for a boat. And right now I'm kind of determining what I'm going to try to buy or what I want to try to run. My favorite boat that I've seen out of the boats that I've talked about, which is only two at this point, a Camus CX20 and a Skeeter, the ZXR 21. Those two I'm going to be doing a Ranger this week, I think on Friday. But out of those two boats, Skeeter was my favorite. I thought the fit and finish stuff was good, and it worked out really well. But I'm going to share some stuff that he's got going on this week. Excuse me, not just this week, but for, I guess, definitely till the end of the year, I would say. And I wish I could. Let's see here. I got to figure out how I'm going to do this. And again, this is obviously, I'm not pressuring you into buying any of this stuff, obviously. Just trying to help some companies that are local to us, and that's what we're doing. The biggest thing that I've seen right now, and I'm gonna share this with you, is the fact that they are going to offset some of the cost for a boat. Right now, special interest deals here right now going on. They have 3 different tiers of credit. So there's some fine print that you guys are not seeing down here, but I'll just kind of give it to you. Tier 1, as far as I know, the 4.99% interest, that's going to be with a 10 to 20% minimum down payment. And again, I can't see the bottom of it really here as well for me. Maybe I can. So it's saying that it's subject to bank approval. So that is the tier 1. Tier 2 here, and I can't see tier 2 because of this, but I can share this stuff out with you. It'll be on our page here later. And the highest that you're going to see here is 6.99% interest. Now, another cool thing about this is that it stays, if you see the big red block down here, it stays locked in for the full term of the loan. So you stretch this thing out to 15 or 20 years, whatever the bank approves you for, you're going to be paying as low as 4.99% interest. And right now, that is astronomically low. And here's some deals that the boat manufacturers that they offer have got going on right now. So Nitro, save up to $2,000 on a select fiberglass boat, and you're going to receive a $2,000 Bass Pro gift card plus a free cover, and or you're going to get a free cover or percentage rates down at 5.99%. So that's really good there. That $2,000 boat, or that $2,000 Bass Pro gift shop or gift card, is 100% the truth. Kyle just bought a new Nitro, and he did get that, which is crazy. He bought a new sim suit, bunch of fishing rods and stuff. You're gonna be spending this money anyway, but it's basically like, it's like cash money in your pocket, getting $2,000 back on buying that boat, which is really pretty cool for Nitro. Next up, we got two more of the Nitro and Triton that have got a lot of stuff going on right now. Same deal. Up to $5,000 on fiberglass Ranger models, plus you're getting that $2,000 Bass Pro gift card, and you're going to get either a free cover or really low interest rates. And a lot of times, like I said, with the Freedom Outdoors stuff that you're talking about right now, as far as with the APR and stuff, they're locking their rates in for the lifetime of your loan, which is actually really pretty cool. So, you're getting a custom cover for free and or low APRs, and no matter what you're doing, you're getting a $2,000 gift card from Bass Pro. And last but not least, same with the Triton here. Again, same deal. It's all the way through Nitro, Ranger, Triton. You're going to get a $2,000 Bass Pro gift card for buying one of these boats, and a free custom cover here. You're not getting, so you're getting the cover here as well with the Triton. Whereas the other one, well, I guess it still says right here, it says or down here, but not or up here. That's 5.99%. Again, this is kind of subject to what you guys are dealing with, but those are some pretty good ideas. They're pretty cool deals they got going on right now. And again, they are locking this stuff in to the annual APR, and that's the biggest deal right now with boat manufacturers or boat dealers like Freedom, is that you have to understand that the APR is not subject to them, right? APRs are bank rates, and bank rates are super, super high right now, which is weird because the stock market is kind of up and we're still paying all these crazy amounts of annual percentage rates. But they are at Freedom Outdoors, so that they're offsetting some of that based on how much money you're putting down, and they're going to lock that in for the lifetime of the loan, that's pretty handy. Like having that, if you have an interest rate that is not fixed and it's variable, that stuff could go 20 to 30% interest. It's like a credit card. You don't want that. You want to lock that down. So if you're interested in getting your hands on a boat, head on over to Freedom Outdoors. Again, they sell Nitro, Triton, Camus, Ranger, Skeeter, and some aluminum style boats there as well. Anyway, all right, so enough with that. Again, I just want to give you guys the opportunity to understand that if there's anybody out there kind of looking for a boat like I am, now is a great time to buy a boat. And I know it's kind of tough to chew on here in Ohio because it's it's wintertime. It's hard to get out on the water. It's really cold, but it's like having $100,000 vehicle in your car that you can't run. And I get that. But if you guys are interested, you might want to go check that out right now, because that's pretty hard to beat, especially with the way interest rates are running. So back to the task at hand, and we're going to talk about wintertime cranking and why. And the reason this is on my mind is because I watched a seminar today with G-Man, and it's an older seminar. He's talking about throwing crankbaits in the wintertime and real late fall and even early in the spring, and talking about what he thinks makes a big difference. And one of the things that I thought was really interesting that he said, and it's true, he said, think about physiologically, when you put a fish who is, cold-blooded in some water, and it's going to then get colder. It's like you take a goldfish and you put it in a small goldfish bowl, and you tap it's 80 degrees in your house or 75. You tap the side of that bowl, that goldfish is going to go crazy. He said, now on the other side of things, you go out and you put that same fish in 50-degree water or 40-degree water, and you go out in the morning and you slap the side of that bowl, that fish is just going to barely move. Well, that's because he's cold, right? He's just so cold. So it makes a lot of sense. So before we get started, before I give you guys my advice and JR tells you what he thinks the best crankbaits are for the wintertime, drop yours in the comments here if you're listening to this live about what you would like to see. We've heard rock crawlers, we've heard Fritz sides, and there's crankbaits are crazy. And if Mark Hickey was on here, he would tell you crankbaits don't even have anything to do with crankbaits. Oh, he is on here.
Yeah, he's here now.
There he is. There he is. Maybe we should hear from Mark Hickey. Anybody want to hear from Mark Hickey? So, Ricky, that it's funny that you should mention Phoenix. Because 50% of the people, actually, I can't say, well, 66% of the people on this screen right now, you, JR, and me, so 66% of the people, not including myself, so I'll just take myself out of the reins here, own a Phoenix now.
Well,
Will in January.
Rat trap.
Yeah, digging it. So I think a lipless crankbait is an absolute go-to in the wintertime. I'm glad you brought that up, Fred. They just catch fish, man. And I tell you what, JR will vouch for this. Like, he's been throwing like a 1/4 ounce rattle trap, one of the smaller ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally have never thrown them, but he's proven to me that they catch fish. I'm that big 1/2 ounce, chunking that big thing out there. Some of my favorite rattle traps on the planet obviously are the red-eyed shad. You got to have that in your boat, in my opinion, if you're throwing rattle traps. I like the Jackal TN or the TN60s. They have tungsten rattles in them. They're a lot louder. They have a tungsten lip on the front of them that causes the bait to run at a more steep angle. I really like that. Rattle traps, what are you throwing, JR?
Yeah, I like the red-eye shad. I like the 2-tap of those too, because it's a little bit different sound. So they don't make the 2-tap in the 1/4 ounce. I really like that small profile for fall and winter. Typically, that's what I'm throwing. I do throw that TN60 some. I have the 70s. I throw the 60s more. And then, I actually really do like, the Bill Lewis standard rattle trap as well. Really tight shimmy. I know a lot of people don't care for their hooks a lot, but honestly, I've not had a huge problem with them. I've never been the guy to replace my treble hooks. I just never have. It's something that maybe I should look into, especially if I start losing fish on them.
Yeah, so here's something for you, and I wish I had somebody on here that could vouch for it, and I'm sure there's probably somebody here that could vouch for it. But so the tackle box, obviously, first off, we'll talk about that real quick. Tackle box is going out of business, 40% off everything in the store right now, minus rod and reels, because I think everything else is 30%, but 40% off of everything else. That's baits, man. Like, it's crazy amounts. Like, you're getting like 1.5s for like $3 and some change, which is crazy. But the tackle box has a open house every year, and we always try to sell people on Corrado DCs that have never fished, or two, always come in with this attitude, man, I can't cast a bait caster. I just don't know how to run them. I don't know how to work them. I always end up with backlash, and I get frustrated and I don't fish. So we take them out in the parking lot with a Corrado DC and prove to them that they actually can cast this thing and cast it fairly decently far and not have to really know anything about a bait caster. But the greatest thing about you're talking about a Bill Lewis rattle trap. There was a 1/2 ounce rattle trap. As far as I know, it's still on a rod and reel at the tackle box. We have casted it for 3 solid years on those freaking those 2-day open house, and we're not talking about casting these into a field, man. We're skipping this baby across the freaking blacktop parking lot 6 days in a row. So 2 days a year, not counting the people that go out in the parking lot just to cast it when they want to. And this rattle trap is still together. Like, that is amazing. That's crazy. I saw that Philip was talking about the Shad Rap 7. I threw the Shadow Rap 5 a ton this spring and absolutely tore a bone out of fish at Yatesville. I'm talking about freaking killed them. It was an awesome bait. Now, I've heard a lot of people, and maybe this is something you guys could shed some light on for me, is that I hear a lot of people throw those Shadow Raps on spinning rods. And the reason is, I guess, is because they're a little bit lighter weight and they don't cast them as far. But I throw this thing on a IMX Pro G Loomis IMX Pro 866C Deep Flex with a Corrado 70 on it, and I'm here to tell you I can cast it just as far as anything else I've tried. But I absolutely caught the fire out of fish with that thing. So
5/16, I think, right?
what is it now?
I think those are 5/16. So
Yeah.
not super light. It's just a little bit awkward, I guess, with the balsa.
Yeah. So, but I've let's see here. I'm on the website. You guys are not seeing this, but I'm looking at the. So the Shadow Rap 5, the SR5. This one is 3/16. The Shadow Rap 5 is 3/16.
3/16. Okay, that is pretty light.
The 7 is the 5/16. But I'm telling you what, if I can find, let me see if I can find this collar right here, and I'm sure I can because it's on here. I'm sure of it. And I'll share my screen to show you guys what it was. But there's one collar that I absolutely freaking fell in love with. I caught the fire out of fish at Yatesville with it, and I'm having a hard time finding the collar here. I can't. It was. I hear a lot of people running the like bleeding copper flash, which is a copper bait. I'm still trying to find this bait. I don't see it. But it was like a silver and blue collar with like an orange belly. I still like there's so many here and their thumbnails are very, 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 very small. So I'm trying to click on each one of these things here. And again, I know you guys are not seeing what I'm showing you here, so I apologize for that.
Philip's also talking here about headhunters. I've got a few of those baits. They look really similar to the rock crawlers. I've thrown them. I mean, they seem like a cheaper version. I mean, not cheaper as in poor quality, but cheaper as in not as expensive rock crawler. But the colors look good, really similar too. But
yeah, and so that. Yeah, man. So it does, Ricky. It really hurts my feelings, and like I don't know what we're gonna do without Greg there. I was hoping somebody would at least buy the place and keep it going, but you know, a lot of people just don't have the liquid money to buy that place, and he put it out there for what I thought was a decent price, but it was a astronomical price too. And you know, I'm glad he's getting out of there, man, because he's worked 40 plus years on creating the shop that we know what it is. But I'm definitely going to miss the place, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was there the other day, and he said the 29th is his last day for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I asked him about that. He said he didn't know. Like, I don't know what was going on. So maybe somebody bought it. Maybe he's got somebody down. I don't know. I mean, I do know. I will tell you that he's probably got half the stock left up there.
There's a whole lot of. Honestly, for 40% off. I very much might go get me some of the some more of those crankbaits. I mean, the 1.5s at 40% off, and he's still got some of the DR or the Rapala DTs. And I mean, when can you ever have enough of those?
Yeah, so I mean, he's got a ton of stuff up there, guys. It's not like it's like bare bones up there. He's still got a ton of. Last time I was up there, I think he had like 6 or 7 NRX Plus, and these things, I can tell you right now, are $450. That's $200 off MSRP. That is crazy talk. You will never find them like that again unless they're used. I see the Andrew 6 here talking about without Greg being there, we're going to buy our tackle. And that's the thing, man. Like, I am Greg through and through, and Greg gets the tackle box is why I have affiliation with a lot of the companies I do, including Shimano and G Loomis, Matter of fact, I am only on the Shimano and G Loomis Pro staff through Greg Drown as a tackle box. But with that being said, in our area, I would like to direct your attention after Greg closes to Border Sporting Goods in Ashland. It's another local based company. They don't have nearly the fishing supplier, or they have a lot of fishing stuff up there, but don't think you're going to go over there and find the next tackle box. However, talking to Brad Taylor over there, I think a lot of that was because that the guy that owns Borders didn't want to kind of step on Greg's toes, and then Greg didn't put a whole lot of hunting stuff in his shop, so they wouldn't, they're buddies and they didn't want to infringe on each other's business. So now when Greg closes, what are we going to see at Borders? Could we see an explosion of more fishing stuff in there? Who knows? But there's a lot of stuff in there. It's packed in a lot tighter, a lot of smaller section, but if Brad doesn't have it, he'll order it for you. He said that. I'm going to be working myself and JR with Borders over there, trying to promote their business now as well. But again, I do, recommend you go out and check out Greg's right now. He is retiring. It is 40% off. And like I said, it's not picked over stuff. It's not like you're going to a Big Lots, right? I mean, it still has really high quality stuff up there. And right now it's
Strike King left.
Zoom, Strike King, Gary Yamamoto, TRDs. There was a lot of stuff up there still.
Lots of Maxxin, and that's what $4.99 a bag too.
I think it's cheaper than that. It's $3.99, isn't it?
I don't know. I was thinking it's $4.99 for Maxxin, but maybe it's more now with 40% off.
Yeah, I don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure there's a sign on the door that says Maxxin for $3.99, which is crazy stuff. So I'm definitely going back up there this week. I'll probably stop up on Thursday, so it's more one of those deals where I am buying stuff that I know I'm going to use. It's not going to go bad, so I can keep it like in my. I got half the tackle box stacked in my garage right now. But with that being said, I'm hoping we can get Greg to make some of those spinner baits for us for years to come. So I'd be willing to pay the premium for them. We're paying like $4.99 or $5.99 a piece for them. I'd give him a couple extra bucks per each one just so I can get my hands on them. They're that good.
Those are definitely gone.
Yeah, they're most of them are gone. There's still some stuff up there like that. But so Andrew, to answer your question, is I would definitely recommend going over to Borders, checking out what they have to offer.
Yeah, Brad's a great guy. Tell him we sent you, and he might give you a little discount.
It's it's a great place. Went over there the other day. Matter of fact, if you want to see the shop very minusculely, you could check out my last video, or a couple videos ago, about us being going crappie fishing. We went over there and bought us a little ultralight at Borders and went crappie fishing. But they got a lot of good stuff over there too. So that's where I would recommend you going if you have the opportunity to go there as well. Also, I think I mentioned at the beginning of the show, but just in case you guys are not aware, we are putting these episodes now up on Spotify. And the reason we're doing this is the fact that it's going to be audio only on Spotify. But I myself, if I'm traveling fishing, I like to listen to fishing podcasts. I've been listening to The Bilge, that is Chris Zaldane's stuff. I listen to Ike and Ellie going down the road. I'm constantly listening to fishing podcasts. If I can't find a fishing podcast, I'm listening to Joe Rogan, who is a podcast that's audio based on that stuff. We're still going to be doing these things live, and you're going to see my ugly face on here and JR over there live every Tuesday, but these are going to be put up on Spotify. So if you miss these shows and we get some other cool people on here, you can go back and check them out on Spotify and listen to them going down the road to work or whatever. And that they're 100% free. You don't have to subscribe to it. You can just hop on there and listen to it, and it's there. You can just search for On Another Line on there.
Going back to the winter cranking, I know that the guys at Tactical Bass, and which I hope we get them on the show at some point, have their Tactical Bass and crankbait. I do have that crankbait as well, and it's actually meant as more of a reaction style, fast cranking type crankbait for cold water, which is a little bit counterintuitive. And when I hear it, I think of slower presentation, flat sides, things like that when you're talking about crankbaits in cold water. But this is kind of the devil's advocate to the standard, frit sides and things of that nature. But I have a couple of them, but I've thrown them, not much success. But sometimes cold water cranking can be a little bit of a difficult thing to catch anything on.
Yeah, so and back to the point, I think the flat-sided crankbaits have a better chance of catching fish in the wintertime, and here's why. Again, it goes back to the scenario that G-Man was talking about where, fish, first off, I find, in my opinion, my limited knowledge as a mediocre bass fisherman, I find that fish usually in the wintertime, in my opinion, will feed on bigger baits because they're looking for a one and done style meal, where instead of eating like 75 small threadfin shads throughout the day, they may eat one that's 7 inches long during the day, just to keep, so they don't have to exert as much energy during those cold weather times. And Ronnie Moore said something the other day that really struck me funny, but it is so daggone true, and it's something that I've never thought about. Is we were talking about throwing big swim baits, and we are talking about throwing these big 7 to 10 inch swim baits that people are going crazy over right now. And I'm in the process right now of making my own swim bait series. That's going to be made out of maple, and it's a hardwood jointed style, like chop style bait. But he said, and it was classic, man. He's like, you know what? Because we were talking about how fish, like I'm kind of like hesitant to throw fish or throw big baits for fish. And he was like, look, man, he's like, fish do not have a mirror. He's like, they don't know how big they are. He said, if they think that they could take something on, they're going to try to eat it. And it's 100% true, right? Like I've had bass this big eating a 7-inch worm, try to get hooked up. If they feel like they can eat it, they're going to try to. Bass do not have a mirror. So if you're throwing big baits and stuff like that, but one of the things that I find out with flat-sided crankbaits is that for example, 1.5, the wobble is a little bit wider, and it's almost like it's just sitting there like going crazy. Like it's had too much caffeine throughout the day, and hit up on a little bit of like Bubba's booger sugar from down on like corner of 3rd Street. And this dude's like, going crazy, like, and then whereas these flat-sided crankbaits still has the movement, but it's not have these big old wobbly movements. It's really it's really tight wobble. The vibration is going to be different on that. So flat-sided crankbaits are going to be where I'm at. One of my favorite crankbaits, and I'm sure you guys get tired of me talking about it right now, and I have no affiliation with this company, so don't think that I'm getting paid for every time I say this. I just believe it's that great of a crankbait. Spro Little John Type R. That's where Fred, we were just talking about there a second ago about rattle or no rattle. The first off, the Spro Little John 50 is a flat-sided crankbait. But the Type R is a rattling style crankbait in that flat-sided, that 4 to 6 foot diving range. You can get a little deeper if you use a smaller diameter fluorocarbon. Maybe you probably get 7.5 foot out of it. This thing absolutely catches fish, and I am so enthralled with this crankbait that Jeff from the Tackle Box called me the other day and said that they made one last order to Pittman Creek, where they ordered all their stuff from, and as far as I know, they bought every Type R that they had at Pittman Creek, and I bought every one of them. That's how good that this crankbait is and has been for me. So don't overlook the Spro Little John Type R. And one thing I'm saying is that there's 2 different types. There's like an MD. Stay away from the MD. I don't like it as much. You need the one with the circuit board bill. That flat side Little John Type R 50. My favorite colors are like Homemade Shad and Rayburn Red. Headhunter Stalker Crawl. I'm gonna check that one out right now.
Yeah, they're good looking baits, man. They look really similar to rock crawler.
Yeah, so let's just share this thing up right here.
Yeah, I remember I got mine at the Tackle Box probably a year or 2 ago, but they look really good.
So there's a Stalker Crawl and the Headhunter. So these are these custom made? I mean, this looks like a
No, they color the bills too, which is a little bit different.
Yeah, I like that. So they did that on the old. They had like a crawdad pattern on the old wigglewort that were like that. So this is Stalker Crawl. The website looks kind of crazy, so
A little janky.
it does look a little janky. I'm not gonna lie to you, but like I'm not seeing like, do they not consider that a crankbait? That's a pretty good looking color too. The avocado crawl.
Oh, near and dear to my heart.
Put that baby on some toast. Put that on a cracker, dude. Yeah, so it's a really cool bait, man. That's the first time I've ever seen a headhunter, so that's why I like you guys joining on here so we can all learn together. It's a great deal. So you're right; though, it looks a whole lot like a rock crawler, and eerily like a pre-Rapala wiggle warp. Next, so we're talking about the Shadow Wrap. Shadow Wrap is definitely in my box. We talked about a rattle trap going to be in that winter time as well. One bait that I cannot get into. First off, the KVD flat side crankbaits. I think they're maybe 1.5 flat sides.
There's a 1 point side flat, and there's a 1 point side flat deep.
Yeah, so the flat I like. Now any of the 1.5 deep stuff, dude, I think they are 2 notches below crap. Like
Yeah,
I've never
on them either.
I've never seen a crankbait run so daggone erratic. And that's sometimes erratic is good, but I'm talking about like straight out of the package. I feel like it's like I feel like that it's something that you're going to have to tune every time you throw it. I've never found one of the 1.5 deeps that run true and straight. I bet I have 15 of them. And there's probably maybe 2 of them that run straight. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I figured a crankbait is a crankbait. It's crazy, like having to tune them. I hate that. Like, if I'm paying, that's one thing that I like about Spro and stuff. You are paying a little bit more money for them, but they pretty much run true. I've never found one out of the box that didn't run true. I really like that a lot. It's like the old Bill Norman lures, man. Bill Norman still makes the stuff. I still love some of their freaking baits. I think that they're like was a number 57 or whatever it is, the crawl pattern, those little teeny tiny river crankbaits. They are absolutely fire. But I'm telling you what, there's a reason that Bill Norman on the back of their pack showed you how to tune a crankbait. And that's a true story, man. And open up, like flip a crankbait over from Bill Norman on the backside. It'll tell you how to tune it. And I think it's because they had to. So let's see. Another good. So the 1.5 flat, I really like that one a lot. The new Shimano crankbaits are really good. Let me find one of these things up here so I can show you.
I haven't thrown any of those yet. I've thrown the jerkbait and had a little bit of success, but not the actual cranks. They've got quite a bit of, square bills, and then they've got some of the other ones with that flash technology within it.
Flash boost, yeah. That's actually pretty cool. Most people think it's a gimmick, but it's really not, especially in their jerkbaits, man. I'm like, I don't know why anybody's never thought of this idea before. But what's happening is like the jerk bait is like lengthwise this way, and from the front to about midsection there is a piece of foil in there that's attached to 2 springs on the end. So when you jerk the bait and you stop the bait, that foil in there is still moving on those springs. So it gives it still some motion while it's setting still, which absolutely brings some fish in. So I'm going to share this with you. My favorite crankbait right now, when we're talking about wintertime stuff, for the deal for Shimano. Shimano has a thing called the Shimano Macbeth, and it is pretty daggone spectacular. And I love this color right here. This is red crawl. Really, I mean, an absolute game changer of a crankbait. I really like that circuit board bill. You heard me talking about that a second ago on that Little John Type R. There is a top view of that bait. This is what I'm talking about, flat sides. Normally, you know, a crankbait would have a bigger bulge or bulky, you know, midsection here, whereas this one does not. It's flat all the way through. You can tell that the backside of it's actually a little thicker than the top side of it here. And don't quote me on this, but I'm thinking that this bait is balsa as well. I could be wrong.
Andrew, I think there's still a bunch of those at the tackle box, actually. I don't know. I assume those are 40% off too. I don't think there's any special thing on that, but there is definitely a lot of those left.
Yeah,
Kellen
for sure, man.
Chat.
He's got them for sure. So definitely go up there and take a look at it. You can find something that you like up there. Just another thing that I am releasing on my YouTube channel over the next few days. I've released 2 videos already. I'm going to be diving into my rods that I use and what rods that I use for what techniques. And I'd like to put a disclaimer out there for this. The fact that I never will tell you, I will never force my opinion on you about what I'm fishing, but I get asked all the time, and I just tell people what I'm fishing. And then when I tell people what I'm fishing, they look at me like I'm a millionaire and I have this big bunch of money wrapped up in rod and reels. And they are true that I have a big bunch of money wrapped up in rod and reels. I'm not even close to being a millionaire. I probably have not made $1 million in my entire life. But it's funny though, you get these haters on Facebook and on YouTube and things that are like, I'm not paying $700 for a rod and reel combo. Like, that's fine. Like, I didn't say that you had to. Like, I think, man, I'm a realist. If you have a $35, you know, we're talking like you're buying a Zebco 33 Classic combo from, you know, Earl's Gun and Pawn that Jimbo just took in on trade for a weed eater, like, and you're going out and catching fish on it, that's what it's all about for me. I don't care what gear you're using. I don't care if you're throwing $1,000 rod or an $8 rod, and I don't care if you're making your own baits or you're throwing like a Kelly Firetail from back in the day. The whole deal is getting out on the water, dude. I tell you what, Philip, the Fritz side are amazing. I love those for wintertime.
Kentucky Blue is legit too. I love that color.
Let's see if I can't find one here real quick.
Berkeley's Kentucky Blue is kind of similar to Strike King's Oyster. Those are like 2 of my all-time favorite crankbait colors.
Let's see here. Man, I'll tell you what, one bait that I like from them, I like the spring crawl collar. I don't own any yet, but I'll share this really quickly. I really love the spring crawl. Let's see here if I can grab the right thing. So here's a Fritz Side 7 in spring crawl. I really like this bait. Just think it looks phenomenal. Got that little bit of a weight there on the front with a coffin style bill. Really pretty cool there. Let's see if we can't find the Kentucky Blue. I don't know if it's on here or not, Jer. If you can see it, let me know. Oh, there it is, Kentucky Blue. Pretty sweet collar, man. Not gonna lie to you, very shad-delicious. Looks good. I like that red crawl really good. Let's see what else collars on here I really like. What is that? That's not the one I was thinking of. I'm thinking special red crawl. Yeah, that one right there is fire. I'm telling you, man, the Fritz Side 5 and that, holy crap. Talk about a smallmouth killer. Holy bejesus.
Yeah, Mike, I've got a bunch of those money badgers. They are sweet. You'll definitely catch not just bass on it, multi-species bait. And I think they kind of advertise it as that. It's got a real tight wobble. I think a lot of people are catching walleye on them too.
Money badger, what size? Looking at them here, 4, 5, 6 1/4, 6 3/4, 7 1/4. Money badgers. These are, I don't think they are flat side, are they?
No, they're not.
Pretty cool looking bait. Yeah, so those are. That's right, Andrew. I'm looking for I'm looking for a new job. You know what I mean? Because let's put it this way: if I had a job making as much money as I thought I'd do, then I would be a lot more well off. No, let's put it this way: if I had a job making as much money as I spend, it would be we're at 6.25 money badger. I agree. So, man, that's what's so great about the fishing industry is that there's options out there, but the whole point of today's episode is to show you that cranking in the wintertime is a technique that shouldn't be overlooked. But there is some things that you should look at. One of those being that if you're going to be throwing a jerk or some kind of crankbait in the wintertime, to find one that doesn't have a big wobble action, something that's got a really tight wobble, something like a flat side, something like we've talked about the lipless crankbait is an amazing talk about, I guess, example of that. And something we'll talk about going forward. Maybe we'll talk about flipping and pitching next week for wintertime. But Dan Vesuvio from Picasso this past week posted a video or a picture that I thought was phenomenal. And he mentioned, let's see if I can find this really quick for you. But he mentioned that having a bait that or adding a trailer to a bait in the wintertime. And if you're doing that, which I'd say we all are, to use a smaller bait that has less movement. And I thought that was really cool. I'm going to show you guys this right here, which I thought this looks like, I mean, I don't know why I've never tried this before, but this thing looks absolute fire. I mean, look at that thing. So this is a Picasso Little Spotty. A couple of things about Picasso Little Spotties is the fact that they are tungsten head. Most of them, most of Picasso's jigs totally are tungsten head. But it has 3 titanium weed guards on here. They are really, really cool. But this is a baby brush hog cut down, that using it for a trailer. And I am digging this a lot. Like I'm trying next time out. Like it looks good, man. Less movement on those hinges. That is fire.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, guys, we are at that 45-minute mark. I appreciate you guys sticking around for this episode of On Another Line and Wintertime Cranking. We're going to try to get some people on next week. Maybe we'll get some of you guys on, try to break up the monotony of just me and JR telling you how we cannot catch fish, because that's basically what we do. We go out and not catch fish a lot. But with that being said, you see some of our affiliates down there at the bottom of the screen. Solar Bat Sunglasses, they have a new winter time special going on right now. We're going to be releasing a lot of stuff on my Facebook page about that going forward. Freedom Outdoors, again, you guys saw that they have a lot of stuff going on up there. If you are looking for a boat or in the market for a boat, go check them out. They do have a lot of stuff going on, including that $2,000 Bass Pro gift card for Triton, Nitro, and I believe Ranger. There's a video out on the Camus boat owners page that he sent me earlier. I'll show you guys that next week. Got to be the fastest hole shot I think I've ever seen on a boat, which is pretty crazy. But next up, Picasso Lures. We talked to them. Obviously, they talk about them today. They have a great thing going on. I really like Picasso, Dan Vesuvio, and most of their stuff is made in the United States, which is really good. And Border Sporting Goods, obviously, over there in Summit, Kentucky. Go over there and tell Brad we sent you. And we don't have to say much about Shimano and G Loomis because we all know that they're one of the top dogs. So
best of the best.
Yep. So with that being said, we are going to hop off here and see you guys next week. And again, if you guys have any comments or concerns, or would like to submit a topic for next week, feel free to drop us a line here on Another Line. See what I did there?
Oh man, so clever.
I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. Maybe I should go on tour for a comedian.
Yeah.
10,000
comedy hour.
10,000 comedians out of work, and I'm over here trying to be funny.
Yeah, I was going to say that it's a shame that with JB's fish sauce didn't really make your scent just trash. It probably would have been a little better for you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. So, Fred, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for always joining in there. We're going to be safe, hopefully. And you're right, Andrew. We live in the armpit of America for bass fishing. I've said that 100 times. So, if you guys can, see you, Miss White. We'll see you on the flip side. With that being said, you guys know the routine. If you can, get out there and lean on them. We'll see you next time on another line.